Think Peppa Pig is just a simple kids show? Think again. Behind the fun and laughter lie mysterious secrets and strange questions no one has fully explained. Where does Aunt Doy really live? Why does Mr. Bull go to school without kids? And who's the third Peppa in that family photo? From hidden family puzzles to odd character behaviors, these mysteries will change how you see the show. Stay tuned. These secrets will blow your mind. On top, we've got Super Potato, who basically is the Superman of Peppa Pig's universe. So where does Super Potato's powers come from? This question is really intriguing. Whenever we see Super Potato coming on the scene, he almost always appears flying from the sky. Unlike other talking vegetables like Mrs. Carrot, who uses a thick rope to simulate that she is flying, which even the children in the audience notice, Super Potato really has the ability to fly. It's not just for show. He soars through the air with ease, and no one questions it within the show's universe. It's simply accepted that he can fly, but that makes us wonder, how? Moreover, he also has unreal strength, as we see when he manages to save Mr. Potato from his car, where he got stuck. That's not something just any vegetable can do. Mr. Potato is no small fry, and yet Super Potato lifts and rescues him like it's nothing. Again, this isn't a staged act like Mrs. Carrot's flying, this is real within their world. It raises the big question, where do these powers of this talking potato come from? Was he born with them, or did he acquire them over time? One of the popular Peppa Pig theories states that the talking vegetables were the result of some sort of scientific experiment. It's an idea that tries to explain how ordinary vegetables came to life and began talking in the first place. But if they were really the result of an experiment, then why didn't other vegetables get the superpower? That's the part that doesn't quite add up. Why does only Super Potato get to have the amazing abilities, while the others like Mrs. Carrot or the rest of the talking vegetables remain just, well, talking? We can't say for sure if this is true or not, but surely this is still one of the biggest mysteries in Peppa Pig. Where do Super Potato's powers actually come from? The show never tells us, and maybe that's what keeps fans so curious. Going back to the potatoes in Peppa Pig, there's another mystery surrounding them. Are Super Potato and Mr. Potato brothers? This question has come up because the two characters are almost completely identical. In fact, they look so much alike that many people even thought they were the same person, at least until the episode where Super Potato saves Mr. Potato. That moment confirmed that they are two separate characters, but it didn't answer everything. It still left the question, are these potatoes related? In the show, we have seen that characters who look very similar are often part of the same family. For example, Daddy Pig and Uncle Pig are brothers. They look very much alike, but there are small differences between them, like the shape and style of their beards, that help us tell them apart. The show uses these little differences to show family connections without making everyone look exactly the same. However, in the case of the two luminous characters we're talking about, Mr. Potato and Super Potato, even their mustaches are identical. That's what makes this so strange. The only real difference between them is their outfits. Mr. Potato wears his usual clothing, while Super Potato appears in a superhero costume. But if you remove the costumes and look just at their faces, they are exactly the same. That's why the idea comes up, are they more than just similar? Could they actually be twin brothers? This possibility makes perfect sense when we consider how the show usually treats characters who look alike. It's not often that unrelated characters are drawn to look completely identical. So, with Mr. Potato and Super Potato sharing the same shape, face, and mustache, and only differing in their clothes, it's easy to think they must be twins. So far, the show hasn't said anything directly about their relationship. But until we hear otherwise, the idea that Mr. Potato and Super Potato are twin brothers remains one of the most interesting and believable fan theories in the Peppa Pig universe. Aunt Doy is probably the most mysterious character in Peppa Pig. So, where does Aunt Doy live? Peppa and George have an aunt named Doy. We know she is their aunt, but we aren't sure if she is Daddy Pig's sister or Mummy Pig's sister. The show never clearly tells us which side of the family she is from. What we do know is that Doy doesn't know Peppa and George very well, or at least not from what they remember. That's already a little unusual because most of their other family members like Granny and Grandpa Pig are very close to them. Also, she lives very far away from England, so far in fact that when she sends them a gift, which is a shiny wheeled horse, she has to include a letter to explain where she is from. This letter makes it very clear that she is in a distant country. It's not just another town or city nearby. She lives somewhere far enough that Peppa and George have never been there and don't know much about it. We still don't know exactly where Aunt Doy lives, but we can tell you where she definitely does not live. First, she does not live in England, because that is where Peppa and George already live. If she lived there, they would probably visit her more often. She also doesn't live in France, which is the country next to England. This is because when Peppa's family visits France, they meet Deli and her family, not Aunt Doy. The same thing happens with the USA. When Peppa's family travels to Hollywood to receive an award and meet Super Potato, they explore different parts of America. But Aunt Doy is not mentioned or seen anywhere during that trip. Some fans think Aunt Doy might live in Russia, which is a very big country, even bigger than the USA. This idea comes from an episode where Madame Gazelle plays a game about different countries. In that episode, George wears a special Russian outfit. It could have been a gift from Aunt Doy for International Day. This seems like a good guess, but the people who make the show haven't confirmed it yet. Mrs. Rabbit is one of the well-known characters in Peppa Pig, and she's famous for having a lot of jobs. But you should know that there is more than one Mrs. Rabbit. So far, no one knows exactly how many Mrs. Rabbits there are, and many fans get a bit mixed up and think that Mrs. Rabbit is actually Rebecca's mom, but that's not correct. In reality, Mrs. Rabbit is the aunt of Peppa's friend because she is the twin sister of Mommy Rabbit. This becomes clear in the episode called Mummy Rabbit's Bump. In that episode, we see both Mrs. Rabbit and Mommy Rabbit at the hospital. Mrs. Rabbit is working as a nurse, while Mommy Rabbit is there to have her twins. Speaking of twins, this brings up another question. Just how many rabbit sisters are there? We know that rabbits tend to have a lot of babies, like Mommy and Daddy Rabbit, who have 4 children. Rebecca, Richard, and the twins Rose and Rob. But what about Mrs. Rabbit? How many sisters does she have? Interestingly, when the pig family travels to France, they meet a character who looks just like Mrs. Rabbit and does many of the same jobs. This French version of Mrs. Rabbit, who calls herself Mademoiselle Léal, which means Mrs. Rabbit in French, is a souvenir seller, a helicopter pilot, and even a professional rescuer. But wait, there's more. It seems that Mrs. Rabbit might have other sisters in the United States too. When Peppa and her family go to Hollywood after finding a golden ticket to be in Super Potato's movie, they arrive in New York. They actually fly there in a plane piloted by Mrs. Rabbit. As soon as they land, they meet another Mrs. Rabbit, but this time she's American. Just like the other rabbits, she does many jobs. She's a taxi driver, an elevator operator, and even sells ice cream. As Peppa and her family travel on their way to Hollywood, they keep running into more Mrs. Rabbits in different places. This makes us wonder, is this rabbit family really spread all over the world, or do all adult rabbits just happen to look and sound the same? One of the most popular Peppa Pig theories is about the original Peppa Pig being replaced by a fake one. This theory started after the creators of Peppa Pig released a family photo of the Pig family. In this photo, we can see the whole Pig family gathered together. As we know, the Pig family consists of 4 members: Daddy Pig, Mommy Pig, Peppa, and George. However, in this image, there are actually 5 family members present instead of the usual 4. When you look carefully at the photo, you'll notice that while 4 pigs are outside the house, there's a 5th pig visible through the window on the ground floor of the family's house. This 3rd pig is looking out at the family members outside. This extra pig looks just like Peppa, which has made many fans question what is going on. The presence of this mysterious 3rd pig has sparked a lot of theories and speculation. To this day, the creators of Peppa Pig have not explained this odd detail very well, leaving fans puzzled in a disturbing way. The photo has raised many questions. Is the pig inside the window trapped? Is she another version of Peppa? Or maybe even the original Peppa, replaced by the one who is now outside with the family? Fans have been discussing and debating these questions for a long time, trying to figure out the true meaning behind the image. This theory about Peppa being replaced adds a darker layer to the otherwise cheerful and light-hearted world of Peppa Pig. The idea that there could be more than one Peppa, or that the Peppa we know might not be the original, intrigues fans and keeps them coming back to the show to look for more clues. Even though the creators haven't given a clear answer, this mysterious photo remains one of the most talked about and creepy mysteries in the Peppa Pig universe. It leaves everyone wondering, how many Peppas are there really? Where are Peppa Pig's grandparents? Peppa Pig only has one set of grandparents who are Mummy Pig's parents. The show never introduces Daddy Pig's parents as characters. This absence has sparked several theories about what happened to Daddy Pig's parents and why they're not included in the show. The first theory is that Daddy Pig's parents have passed away. However, the problem with this theory is that we haven't even seen a photo of them in the house. Normally, when a loved one passes away, families keep their photograph as a memory, but this isn't the case for Daddy Pig's parents. There is no picture of them anywhere in the Pig family home, which makes this explanation a little weak. The second theory suggests that Daddy Pig doesn't have a good relationship with his parents, and that he might even hate them. This would explain why they are never mentioned or shown. If that were true, it would also explain why the family chooses not to include them in the stories. The third theory is that Mommy Pig does not get along with Daddy Pig's parents. Many people believe this is the most likely reason. It is suggested that Mommy Pig's parents are rich and maybe Daddy Pig's parents were not. Because of this difference in wealth, Daddy Pig's parents might not have approved of their relationship. This could be why they don't appear in the show. The last theory is the most disturbing of all. Mommy Pig and Daddy Pig might actually be brother and sister, sharing only one set of parents. This theory comes from a scene in which Peppa says that when she grows up, she will marry Pedro or Danny. This has generated many doubts and questions among fans. However, it seems unlikely this will ever happen because, in the show, there has never been a couple made up of different species, like a dog and a cat. All of these theories remain unconfirmed, but they add an interesting mystery to the Peppa Pig universe. Another popular mystery in Peppa Pig has to do with George, and some of you might have guessed it already. The mystery is George adopted? As we know, the full name of the main character of the show is Peppa Pig, and she is referred to as such by several characters throughout the show. It's common to hear people say Peppa Pig when talking about her. However, when it comes to her brother, we practically never hear anyone referring to him as George Pig. This is a little strange because both of their parents are always called by their full names. We always hear Daddy Pig and Mummy Pig, so their last name is clearly used when people speak to or about them. So does George not have the last name Pig? If that's not his last name, then what would it be? This is where the mystery starts to grow. George's last name is almost never mentioned in the show, but there is one moment when it seems to be revealed. In the episode Edmund Elephant's Birthday, Peppa's family receives a piece of mail with an invitation. It's for George, inviting him to attend Edmund Elephant's birthday party. In the invitation, they refer to him by his full name and use the surname Pig at the end, so it says George Pig. However, if you stop to analyze that moment, another possibility appears. Perhaps Edmund's family simply assumed that George had the last name Pig and put it on the invitation. That's something people might do if they didn't know for sure. This idea is supported by the fact that we never hear anyone in George's own family calling him George Pig. They just call him George, without ever mentioning a last name. So while the invitation says George Pig, it might not be official. Until the show clearly confirms it, the mystery remains. Is George actually adopted? It's a strange thought, but one that fans continue to wonder about. One of the most popular theories in Peppa Pig is regarding Mr. Fox. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then according to some fans, Mr. Fox is one of the most suspicious characters in Peppa Pig. Many fans have theorized that he might actually be a thief, and honestly, we can see this being true. In Peppa Pig, many animals follow certain stereotypes. For example, pigs like mud, and in the show, Peppa's family loves playing in the mud. Foxes, on the other hand, are notorious for stealing, and it might also be the case in the show. In one of the episodes where Grandpa Pig puts his chickens to sleep, he mentions that some animals eat at night. Then, when he turns to the side, Mr. Fox simply appears out of nowhere. That's really suspicious. As we all know, foxes are notorious for attacking farms during nighttime, so Mr. Fox wandering around the chicken coop at night might be hinting at something. Similarly, in the episode The Police Station, we see some posters outside the police station. On the poster, there are 2 fox symbols, one on each side. This might mean that Mr. Fox is wanted by the police. In his shop, all his items have his sticker, which closely resembles what's on the poster. This all looks very interesting. Despite this being funny, it might be proof that he is indeed a professional thief. And even funnier, in all of this, we see little Freddy has a natural inclination to be a policeman. When Peppa and Susie are talking about the future, we see what seems to be the girls' imagination showing them years ahead. They pass by adult Freddy, and he's already a policeman. Maybe Freddy will arrest Mr. Fox in the future. Who knows? But one thing is sure, there's something fishy going on with Mr. Fox. Now, this next one is a weird one. As we know, Mr. Bull frequently goes to school, but the strange part is that he doesn't have any children. So the mystery here is why Mr. Bull goes to school if he does not have children of his own. In some episodes, we have noticed that Mr. Bull appears among the parents when they go to pick up the children. But whose children is he going to pick up since he doesn't have any? Well, there is an easy explanation to this mystery. It might simply be an animation error, or maybe the animators needed a character to fill in, and it occurred to them to insert Mr. Bull without thinking about the consequences. Almost all characters in Peppa Pig are seen sideways, regardless of whether they are animals or humans. We only see their side profile. We always see their 2 eyes. This raises a suspicion. If we were to look at the characters from the front, would they have 4 eyes? Surprisingly, the only characters who do not have this feature are the vegetables, such as Mr. Potato, who is seen practically facing us, just like the other vegetables. But seeing talking vegetables is even stranger than seeing animals, so if they had 4 eyes, it would certainly be even scarier. In Peppa City, it can rain so much that only the hilltops stay above water. But the issue here is what happens to Rebecca Rabbit's and Molly Mole's houses during the flood. As we know, Rebecca Rabbit and Molly Mole live in burrows, both below the hills. So the question is, what do they do during the flood? Do they leave their homes, or are their homes flood-proof? Which seems unlikely. These little mysteries add an extra layer of fun and curiosity to the world of Peppa Pig. Thanks for watching and diving into these Peppa Pig mysteries with me. If you enjoyed uncovering these secrets, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss out on more fun and surprising videos. What mystery surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, keep exploring and stay curious.